More than 12 hours later, and there's still no sign of a little boy dragged into a Disney lake by an alligator. I'm Don Champion in Lake Buena Vista, Florida, with the latest on the search coming up.
The University of Kentucky will join universities across the country in honoring the people who died in Orlando, Florida. I'll show you what they plan to do coming up.
We have a couple of isolated storms right now, but once we get deep into the afternoon, off into the evening hours, that's when more storms move on in, and those storms could potentially be severe. We're going to talk about that with the timing on it coming up.
This is WKYT News at Noon.
Good afternoon to you and welcome to WKYT News. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. Showers and storms are making their way into the Bluegrass region at this noon hour. And some of those have the potential to be strong or severe as we head through the afternoon and evening hours.
Going to keep watch on that. For that reason, a WKYT First Alert Severe Weather Day is now in effect here at noon. WKYT meteorologist Micah Harris is tracking the threat on the First Alert Defender Network.
Yeah, we already have some storms outside, and the main bulk of this is really to the north. Let's talk about the storm system complex up toward the north, rolling its way eastbound. Moorhead, you're going to be next in line. Owingsville, Salt Lake, that's where we're seeing some of those storms, at least hearing thunder off in the distance. Just moved out of Carlisle, the heaviest rain, and that's some really heavy rain heading up Highway 11, Maysville Road, all the way to Flemingsburg, Hillsboro, Sharpsburg. Heavy rain at this moment, and that's sliding eastbound. So if you're sitting there in eastern portion of Fleming County and also Rowan County, you're going to be next in line, especially north of Moorhead. That's where the heaviest bout is located here in just about 30 to 45 minutes. So really the breakdown later on today is about mid to upper 80s. It's going to be very hot and humid, especially if you're out of the way of some of those storms. But then more storms drive their way into the region. Remember, right now is not your severe weather threat. That actually comes late in the afternoon off into the evening hours. How long does it last? What type of severity are we looking out of this? Is this a big type of severe weather setup, or is it just kind of a low end? Well, I'm going to get into details and describe that for you coming up in a few minutes.
In the news this hour, the happiest place on earth has turned into a nightmare for a Nebraska family. Police say an alligator dragged away a 2-year-old boy.
It's just horrible. Search crews are scouring the lagoon near the Grand Floridian Resort for any signs of the toddler. Don Champion is in Lake Buena Vista, Florida now with the very latest. It's our top story at noon.
Crews searching for the missing 2-year-old snatched into a lake by an alligator admit time is not on their side.
Hope is dimming with every hour, but we're still holding out some hope, even if it's small.
The boy has not been seen since 9:30 Tuesday night when he was playing in shallow water at the Seven Seas Lagoon at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. The boy's parents and another young sibling were there as the horror unfolded.
The father was standing nearby when the alligator attacked the child. The father then went into the water and tried to wrestle the small child from the grip of the alligator.
Do not swim signs are posted in the area. Disney has closed all resort beaches out of an abundance of caution.
We've already taken 4 alligators and looked at those alligators and determined right now we couldn't find any evidence that they were involved.
The family from Nebraska had been staying at the luxury resort for a few days. A spokesman for Disney said the resort is devastated and doing what it can for the family. The timing of the tragedy has left the Orlando community reeling.
I can't comprehend what any of this would be like as a parent, losing my child, my 20-year-old, at the Pulse, or my 2-year-old.
Search officials say there's never been an alligator attack like this at Disney. Don Champion, CBS News, Lake Buena Vista, Florida.
The Seven Seas Lagoon is a man-made lake that feeds canals winding throughout the Disney property.
The investigation into the mass shooting at an Orlando nightclub is shifting to the gunman's wife now. Police think Omar Mateen's second wife knew about her husband's plot ahead of time, but they are reluctant to charge her at this point. The FBI is also looking into whether he might have been leading a secret gay life. Mateen killed 49 people and injured more than 50 others at the Pulse nightclub on Sunday before he was killed in a shootout with police. Well, here in Lexington, right now, dozens thousands of people are gathering to honor the victims of the massacre. WKYT Sean Moody is live on the UK campus where a vigil is just now getting underway.
Hey there, Bill. They're expecting quite a few people out here at University of Kentucky. The service was originally going to be in the UK's Violence Intervention and Prevention Office, but they got such a big response they actually had to move it to a larger room here at UK's main building. They expect this program to go on until about 1:30. Organizers said they wanted this to be an informal event for members of the UK community to come together. There will be some speakers around 12:30, but they say their remarks will be short. Several organizations are sponsoring the event, including the Violence Intervention Prevention Office and the Office of LGBTQ Resources. The campus has been showing their support for Orlando in other ways, too. Overnight, Memorial Hall was lit up in rainbow colors. Some other buildings on campus will be lit up this week as well.
We want to make sure that especially our members of the LGBTQ community know that that support is there and know that the university as a whole as an institution, but also on a really individual level, we care about one another.
And again, those speakers will have their remarks coming up at 12:30. Later on WKYT News this afternoon, we'll show you what they had to say. Live in Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Sean, thank you very much. And the organizers had told us ahead of time they expect at least 100 people at the event today.
Closing arguments are underway in a high-profile Lexington murder trial. Mark Taylor is charged with murder and kidnapping for the beating death of former UK employee Alex Johnson in December of 2013. WKYT's Victor Puente is at the Fayette County Court Complex now with the very latest on the case. Victor?
This is the 7th day of Mark Taylor's trial. Closing arguments began this morning with his defense team laying out their reasons why the other man charged in this case, Timothy Ballard, was the one who killed Alex Johnson. Johnson's body was found in a barrel in the Kentucky River in January of 2014. Prosecutors say Mark Taylor beat him to death, then stole drugs and money from his apartment. A big part of their case was the testimony of Timothy Ballard, who said he helped Taylor load the body into that barrel and then took it to the river. Taylor's defense team says Ballard was lying and that he was actually the one who beat Johnson to death. They said he used a collapsible baton that several witnesses said they saw him with. Defense attorney Sandra Downs told jurors that if they didn't believe Ballard, they must find Taylor not guilty of murder.
Because there were 3 people there that horrible night that all this happened. There was Mr. Taylor, there was Mr. Ballard, and there was Mr. Alex Johnson. You've heard from 2 of them. Unfortunately, we can't hear from Alex Johnson.
Prosecutors say even without Ballard's testimony, jurors have enough evidence between physical evidence and surveillance video to find Taylor guilty. They also point to the fact that Ballard and Taylor went to a local nightclub just a few hours after Johnson was killed. They say Taylor was in control the entire night. In Lexington, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Victor, thank you. And jurors have been given several options when it comes to charges should Taylor be found guilty. Those include manslaughter, complicity to murder, and murder.
Lexington police say an overnight break-in helped them catch the man behind a rash of burglaries in central Kentucky. Victor Littleton was arrested after allegedly breaking into the Speedway at Tates Creek and Old Mount Tabor about 2:30 this morning. WKYT's Hillary Thornton takes a closer look now in this Crime Tracker report.
Lexington police say the latest business Victor Littleton hit in what they believe is a rash of burglaries is the Speedway here behind me on Tates Creek and Mount Tabor. It was his early morning break-in here that led to him now being behind bars. The list of burglaries Littleton is now charged with starts with Big B Liquors on Todd's Road back on May 17th. Investigators say he then hit several other stores in that Todd's Road area, including Miss Holly's barber shop and the tennis store on Todd's Road twice. They say then at the end of May he hit Big B Liquors again, and then this month hit Ferguson Enterprises. Officers caught up to him early this morning after they say he shattered the glass at this Speedway while the business was closed, setting off the alarm, then going inside stealing cigarettes, all while caught on camera. Officers then quickly spotted the car they believed to be involved nearby, eventually able to pull over the car driven by Littleton. However, he then took off running, leading them on a short foot chase in the Woodhill Drive area. Littleton was arrested there. Police then able to link him to
with more than a handful of previous Lexington burglaries.
Littleton was booked in the Fayette County Detention Center on a total of 7 burglary charges. However, police say they believe he was responsible for even more in other counties. In Lexington, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Hillary, thank you. Lexington police say they are working with Nicholasville police and possibly Versailles police on some burglaries there. And police are questioning 2 men after an overnight shooting in town. Witnesses say people in 2 cars were shooting each other outside the Walmart on Richmond Road in Lexington. Officers stopped one of those cars and found bullet holes in the car. 2 men inside claimed they were there to buy heroin. And then a man started shooting at them. That was their claim. Police found drugs and 2 guns in that car. They're still searching for the other suspect who was driving a tan SUV. Well, it looks like students at the University of Kentucky will be paying more for their education.
According to the Herald Leader, the UK Board of Trustees is expected to approve a 5% tuition increase for in-state students next week. But despite losing more than $12 million in state funding, President Eli Capilouto is also asking for a 2% pay raise for employees. The Southland Aquatic Center is back open this midday after closing down due to a mechanical issue. Parks and Recreation officials say the adult pool wasn't pumping out enough chlorine yesterday, so they shut it down. The health department gave the aquatic center the go-ahead to reopen around 9:30 this morning. It will be open normal hours until 8 o'clock tonight.
All right, so corrective action taken there. Well, we are learning more about funeral services for a former Voice contestant who was shot and killed last week in Orlando. We'll tell you how Christina Grimmie is being remembered. Coming up on WKYT News at noon.
Also ahead, Prince William does something no other British royal in history has done, and it has a connection to the Orlando shooting massacre. We'll explain next on WKYT. Welcome back to WKYT News. Funeral services have been set for a young singer known for her time as a contestant on The Voice. She was brutally gunned down last week.
Visitation for the 22-year-old Christina Grimmie will be held Friday at a church in her hometown of Medford, New Jersey. A memorial will be held later that evening. Grimmie was shot and killed while signing autographs after a concert in Orlando last Friday. The gunman then turned the gun on himself following a scuffle with her brother. Adam Levine, Grimmie's mentor on the program The Voice, has offered to pay for all of her funeral expenses. A $2 million bail has now been set for an Indiana man charged with possessing an assault weapon and explosives in California. Police say James Howell was heading to a gay pride parade in Los Angeles at the time. We've learned that Howell went to high school in Kentucky, in Louisville at Ballard. A judge said the bail was set so high because Howell poses a significant threat to public safety. Prince William is on the cover of the latest issue of the leading British gay magazine called Attitude.
Now, this marks the first time a British royal has been photographed for a gay publication. William says he chose Attitude to speak out against bullying people because of their sexuality. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge also signed a condolence book for the victims of the terror attack on a gay nightclub in Orlando. Johnny Depp's estranged wife is expected to take the stand this week in a hearing regarding her restraining order against the actor. Heard's attorney sent Depp's lawyer a notice demanding he appear in court as well. She filed for divorce from the Kentucky native late last month, claiming he was abusive throughout their 15-month marriage. Meanwhile, Heard is withdrawing her request for temporary spousal support of $50,000 a month. A judge previously denied her request and was set to make a ruling during the hearing on Friday.
I'm Phil Pendleton in Pulaski County at 12:30. I'll show you some of the 26 suspected drug dealers being hauled off to jail.
Big storm up toward the northern zones in northeastern Kentucky, and it continues to roll on through. We had that earlier back toward Owen Henry, Grant Pendleton, Harrison County. Then it started to make its way eastbound. It continued that travel too. Highway 32 about to get absolutely soaked if you were traveling. Actually, it already is. Traveling from Moorhead all the way to Flemingsburg. Highway 11, Maysville Road, Owensville, the downtown area, not seeing the heaviest rain just yet. You've seen some rain here and there, but you got a little bit that's going to be traveling on through here shortly. You're definitely hearing the thunder. This is a big storm, but the good news is no severe weather at this moment. Now, we expect that later on today, so if you're sitting back toward, say, northern Rowan County and also, say, the Olive Hill area, as you work your way just into Carter County and also Elliott County, those areas, here comes that storm making its way through. We talked about this on Facebook Live there on WKYT's Facebook page, that the clouds kept building. And when those clouds keep building on days like this, you know things are about to pop. And you're starting to see those across the region down south and over toward the east. That's still not your severe weather threat. However, could you get an isolated severe cell before we hit late afternoon, early evening hours? It's possible, but your main timing actually comes later on in the afternoon and into the evening. Let's break down the timing. Now, you got to remember, this is not a line moving through. However, the piece of energy that I'm seeing right now on these particular models, this is the timing we have it on it right now. The severe timing, not thunderstorms, but severe timing. And remember, no outbreak type of situation, but there is a few storms there that could become severe. 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. back toward the west and northwest. 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. northern zones and down toward the southern half, right across that I-75 corridor. I'd say here in Lexington anywhere from 6 p.m. to about 9 p.m. And then guys over toward the east, southeast, which is the lesser opportunity to see any severe weather. That's deep into the night, but all should be well by midnight. It should fade away by then.
Okay, so it's that heat that keeps it going.
Absolutely,
right?
You're
Yeah.
right.
Thank you, Micah. And we're coming back in a moment. A minor setback, or is it a big problem for a former Cat?
And Wildcat Baseball has a new head coach. Dave Baker's next with sports.
And we'll check stocks as we head into afternoon trading. The situation today, after several days of losses, the major market indicators are going up.
Kentucky's biggest baseball success was when John Cohen was here as coach. And Mitch Barnhart has once again gone to the Cohen tree to try to make that happen. Once again, Nick Minjone was the man chosen out of 51 candidates to take over for Gary Henderson. His first tweet as UK coach said, excited to be returning home to UK baseball. Road to Omaha starts today. Minjone remembered first coming to UK in 2005.
It was at that moment that I thought to myself, I want to call this place home. There was no doubt in my mind that this was a place that you could win at, and I'm just so excited to be back and to be the head baseball coach here, because it was a dream of mine almost 11 years ago. So to be here in front of everybody, I'm really excited.
After the NBA draft combine, Tyler Ulis was excited about his prospects, but now a bump in the road. According to a report by BasketballInsiders.com, Ulis may be dealing with a significant hip issue. The report says Ulis could require surgery down the line, and that could raise a medical flag to potential NBA suitors, which could drop his draft stock. Ulis is currently projected as a mid to late first-round pick in next week's NBA draft. And he's one of the best coaches and one of the best guys the state has ever produced. And Dave Fraley is returning to the high school basketball sidelines for what he says is the final time, although he said that before. Fraley, who has won 664 games, 6 region titles, and a state championship, will coach Powell County again. He guided the Pirates from 1970 to 77. The Hall of Famer's reason for coming out of retirement, well, it's simple.
Well, I guess at heart, I'm just a high school basketball coach. I'm excited about doing this. I love coaching, and I think I needed the adventure. And so I've done it, and I feel tremendous about it. But it does feel different to be here all these years later. And hopefully we can reward their patience and their expectations.
I think people just got onto his golf handicap scheme. Tonight on the Big Blue Insider with Dick Gabriel. Neil Price, the voice of the baseball Wildcats, on new head coach Nick Minjone. That's at 6 on 630 WLAP. Guys, that's a look at sports on this Wednesday.
Buzz, thank you so much. And there's a lot more coming up in our next half hour of WKYT News at noon.
A missing elderly man in southern Kentucky has been found safe.
I'm Michelle Chamberlain. Coming up at 12:30, Mayor Jim Gray speaks out against Senator Rand Paul. Find out why coming up.
Friday's Mega Millions jackpot is $310 million, and tonight's Powerball jackpot is $153 million.